Who's hungry? The deli's open. Hey guys, it's Marco D'Angelo here with another Marco's Sandwich Shop. We're going to take a look at some sandwich situations and some trap games this week in college and NFL football. Let's get right into it. Let's start with the automatic sandwich spot of the week, and that is Northwestern traveling to play Michigan. Now, if you watched the Bet On It show, you know I already gave this one out on that show. I'm going to repeat it here because I want to give you guys all of the plays that I am looking at. And by the way, guys, if you tuned in last week, we went 4-1 with the sandwich shop games last week. Let's see if we can duplicate that this week. Northwestern, they're plus 10.5, traveling to Michigan. Now, Michigan's last three games, they've played in-state rival Michigan State. Now, granted, that's a bigger rivalry for Michigan State than it is for Michigan. Followed that up by playing the number one team in the country, Oregon. And then last game, they played undefeated Indiana. Now they're playing Northwestern. How do you get up for Northwestern? Well, you might want to say they need one more win to become bowl eligible. Do you really think Michigan is excited about getting to a bowl game sitting at 5-5 when they were the defending national champs? No. When you went to the national championship game last year and won it, and now you're fighting to sneak into a bowl game, that's not what's going to move the needle. What's going to get you excited and all warm and fuzzy is next week when you play Ohio State. That's their bowl game. That's their Super Bowl. That's what they're looking ahead to. I've got to look at Northwestern plus the points in this one as Michigan is in a horrible sandwich spot. Another one that we're going to take a look at is Connecticut. They travel to play Syracuse this week. Connecticut's plus 10.5. Now, granted, strength of schedule, Connecticut has played a weaker schedule. I get that. But both teams are bowl eligible. Connecticut's won 6 of their last 7 games. What is going to get Syracuse excited about this game, especially when they're returning from a West Coast trip last week where they upset California? They were a 10-point underdog and won that game outright. By the way, that was their 5th road game out of their last 6 games. Syracuse traveling back and forth. We talked about this with this conference this year, with the ACC having those Pac-12 teams join the conference makes for bad travel situations where you've got the West Coast teams coming east and the East Coast teams going west. Well, obviously, Syracuse is in that bad spot. But where this really gets dicey for Syracuse is because they're already bowl eligible, both teams are, so there's no must-win factor there to put into the handicap of this game. We got to look at what Syracuse has on deck. Off a satisfying win as a double-digit underdog, and Miami on deck. That's the game Syracuse is going to be looking forward to as they want to wreck Miami's season. I don't see them taking Connecticut seriously in this game. They look past them, and Connecticut would be nothing better for that football program than if they could beat Syracuse. I'm going to look for Connecticut to keep this one close, and don't be surprised if they pull an upset in this one. Let's take Connecticut plus the 10.5. This next one we're going to take a look at is SMU at Virginia. Now, I am going to point out that Virginia does need one more win to become bowl eligible. And they are playing the top team in the ACC in SMU at 9-1. With that said, I'm also going to point out that SMU is not as big of a foe as who they just played. And there's a big game on deck for Virginia. Virginia's coming off going to Notre Dame last week. That is always a big game for any program to play Notre Dame. Yes, they got beat, and they got beat badly, but it was still Notre Dame. You're sky high for playing that game. And, who do they have next? Well, it's their annual Thanksgiving weekend rivalry game against Virginia Tech. This is a bad spot for Virginia. I know it's a lot of points SMU's laying on the road, but I just can't take Virginia in this game. It's SMU or pass. And remember, guys, I tell you, if I give you a winner that's 1 unit. But if I take you off a loser, I saved you 1.1 units. So if you were thinking about Virginia plus the points here because they need to win, be careful with it. SMU is in the much better spot. And oh, by the way, what's SMU playing for? Well, they're playing for the ACC title and they're playing for a spot in the playoffs. So yes, SMU has everything in play here against the Virginia team sandwiched between a Notre Dame game and their arch rival. All right, I'm going to give you 2 more games here. But before I do, I want to tell you, hey, if you made it to this point of the video, I appreciate you guys watching the videos. And if you like what you're looking at, do me a favor. Give us a thumbs up. Hit that like button. It really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it immensely. And jump into the comments section. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see added to these videos. I'm here for you guys, sharing information. I want us all to be better bettors. That's what it's all about in cash and tickets, guys. So appreciate if you could do that. And if you want to actually join me for my premium plays, the plays I give to my clients, we've got a special offer going right now. You can get a 14-day all access package that gets you every play in every sport, guys. We charge $99 per week, but you can get 2 weeks for $149. Why is that so special right now? Well, obviously you're saving money, saving about $50 there. Also, you are getting all of my plays this week, next week. Guys, next week's Thanksgiving. There's games every day. You don't want to miss out on the action. And this includes a 5% play this weekend. Those 5% plays sell for $35 by themselves. And oh, by the way, since February, I'm 16-3 with my 5% major wager plays. And guys, we are red hot right now. Currently the #1 handicapper at WagerTalk over the last 30 days. Head on over to my homepage. You can go directly there by going to wt.buzz/MD. That'll take you directly to my homepage, or go to wagertalk.com and look for my name and click on it. It'll take you to my homepage. All right, let's get to those final 2 games that we are looking at here for this week's sandwich shop games. We've got one more in college football, and that is Air Force plus 3.5 at Nevada. Oh my, talk about a sandwich spot. Nevada is coming off a gut-wrenching loss last week to number 12 Boise State. Boise State has just 1 loss on the season, and that 1 loss was by just 3 points to Oregon. Boise State's in line to make the national championship playoff game. So they went to Boise State and gave them all they could handle. They were a huge underdog, 23.5-point underdog, and only lost by 7. How many times have I told you underdogs that take a team to the limit but come up short generally are flat the next week? Well, that's what we find for Nevada here, but it gets even better. Off of that game, look at who they got next week. Nevada plays their arch rival, UNLV. They get up for that game every year. That is a heated rivalry. These 2 teams don't like each other. So coming off the Boise game and UNLV on deck, this is definitely a sandwich spot for Nevada to look against them. Now, you want to make it even worse? The team they're playing in between this huge sandwich spot is Air Force. How many times have I told you about Navy, Air Force, and Army, how hard it is to prepare for that offense? You know, you don't see that every week. Teams running the option. Yeah, they see it every year in conference play, but it's still hard to prepare for, especially if you're not focused after that gut-wrenching loss last week and looking ahead to UNLV. Great sandwich spot. Take Air Force plus the 3.5. Very live underdog. And yeah, you want to maybe sprinkle on the money line as well. Now, looking at the NFL, we've got one game I want to tell you about in the NFL, and that is Tennessee at Houston. Tennessee's getting 7.5. And you're going to say, why would I want to step in front of Houston after we watched them on Monday Night Football just dismantle the Cowboys? Well, first of all, the Cowboys are in total disarray. And it seems like everybody's dismantling the Cowboys. But this Houston team is a young team. They're still learning how to win, but they're coming off of 3 marquee games in a row. They played the Jets and Aaron Rodgers 3 weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. Then the following week on Sunday Night Football, they played everybody's darling, the Detroit Lions, on that Sunday night game, and really should have beaten the Lions in that game. Then they play a third straight marquee game, Monday Night Football. I don't know that I can remember a team playing Thursday, Sunday night, and Monday night 3 consecutive weeks in a row. And not only did they win on Monday Night Football, they won big, but they did it against in-state rival, big brother Dallas Cowboys. Now, granted, as I said, Dallas is not a good team this year, and they've got a lot of trouble, injuries, and all of that. But still, anybody that gets an opportunity to beat the Cowboys, especially your big brother of the state, that is a very satisfying win. Now you're laying over a touchdown to a division rival? No, I can't do it. And this Tennessee team can run the football. So I think they can stay in this game against Houston. Short week for Houston, laying over the touchdown, an inflated number because of public perception. No, I can't do it. It's a trap, people. Let's jump on Tennessee plus the 7.5 in this one. That's it for this week's Marco's Deli. I hope you enjoyed the sandwiches, the traps, your belly's full, and hopefully at the end of the week, when all the dust settles, your pockets are full as well as we cash a lot of tickets. I truly appreciate you guys stopping by. Again, if you could do me a favor and hit that like button, I would truly appreciate it. Drop me a comment in the comments. I stop by and check them out, and I'll answer any questions that you have. And until next week, guys, let's cash some tickets. I'll talk to you then.